Have you ever felt like everything will fall apart if you're not in control? Avery Cole's hands trembled as he stared at the spreadsheet on his laptop screen. 3 a.m. Again. The hospital's administrative office was dark, except for the blue glow illuminating his exhausted face. He clicked refresh on his email for the 47th time that hour. Nothing. The quarterly audit was tomorrow, and he'd personally checked every entry, recalculated every formula, triple verified every number. Still, his chest felt tight. What if there was an error? What if something went wrong? Everything will fall apart if I don't hold it together. This belief had ruled his life for as long as he could remember. As a child in Sacramento, he'd been the one who stopped his parents' screaming matches, the one who cleaned up emotional messes, the one who carried everyone's problems. He learned early, if you want something done right, you must control every detail. Now, at 32, Avery was the best coordinator Sacramento General Hospital had ever seen. He was also the most anxious, most exhausted, most impossible to work with. Avery, it's 3 a.m. Maya's voice came from the doorway of their bedroom. His girlfriend stood there in her sleep shirt, arms crossed, eyes tired in a way that had nothing to do with the hour. I know. I just need to. You always need to do something, check something, fix something. Her voice cracked. But you never need to just be. With me. With yourself. Maya, you don't understand. The audit. I understand that you're drowning, and you won't let anyone throw you a rope because you're too busy trying to control the ocean. She turned and walked away. The bedroom door closed with a soft click that felt like thunder. Avery returned to his spreadsheet, but the numbers blurred. His hands were shaking harder now. The next day, the audit went fine. Perfect even. But Avery felt no relief. Because perfection wasn't peace. It was just the absence of catastrophe. And catastrophe was always coming. It came 3 days later. A patient, Mrs. Henderson, missed a critical heart scan. The appointment had been scheduled, confirmed, reconfirmed, but somehow it fell through the cracks. The system Avery should have delegated but didn't trust anyone else to handle had failed. His system. His responsibility. In my office. Now. His supervisor's voice was ice. The meeting was brutal. Avery tried to explain, to justify, to maintain control of the narrative. But you can't control consequences. You're burned out, Cole. You're making mistakes because you refuse to delegate. You hover, you micromanage, you treat everyone like they're incompetent. His boss leaned forward. Take a week off. Mandatory. Get your head straight or I'll have to make some difficult decisions. Avery walked to his car in a daze. Fired. He was going to be fired. Everything he'd worked to control was slipping through his fingers like sand. That night, Maya said she needed space. Not a breakup. Just space. Avery sat alone in his apartment, surrounded by perfectly organized everything, and felt his world collapsing. His mother called that evening. Your grandmother's been asking about you. Why don't you visit her in Auburn? Get out of the city for a few days. Mom, I can't just… Avery. Her tone was firm. You're falling apart. I can hear it in your voice. June would love to see you. And honestly, you need her. Auburn. His grandmother's small house by the river. As a child, he'd found it peaceful. As an adult, he'd found it irrelevant. Too quiet, too simple, too removed from the important work of controlling his life. But now, with mandatory time off and nowhere else to go, what choice did he have? Fine, I'll go tomorrow. Good. And Avery? Try to actually be there, not just physically. Your grandmother sees things the rest of us miss. He packed his car, with the precision of a military operation. Laptop, phone chargers, 3 in case. Work files, just to review, not to work. Emergency supplies, detailed route mapped with 3 alternatives. The 2-hour drive to Auburn felt like surrendering. Every mile away from Sacramento was a mile away from control. As he pulled up to the modest house with its overgrown garden and the sound of the river flowing behind it, he felt something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. Not the anxious kind. Something quieter. Something that whispered, "What if there's another way?" June was waiting on the porch, 78 years old with silver hair and eyes that held more peace than Avery had ever known. "There's my grandson," she smiled, "the one who carries the world on his shoulders. Come here." Her hug was firm and lasted longer than Avery was comfortable with. When she pulled back, she studied his face. "You look like you're at war with yourself, sweetheart." "I'm fine, Grandma." She didn't argue. She never did. "Well, come in. Let's have some tea." The first day was torture. Avery checked his phone every 3 minutes. He wanted to call the hospital, email his team, verify that everything was running smoothly without him. But every time he reached for his phone, June would somehow appear with a task. "Help me with the garden? Can you fix this shelf? Let's take a walk." Simple tasks, mindless tasks, tasks that made him want to scream because they didn't matter. The hospital mattered. His career mattered. His relationship mattered. Watering plants didn't fix any of that. On the second day, he snapped, "Grandma, I appreciate the hospitality, but I have real problems. I might lose my job. Maya might leave me. I can't just garden and pretend everything's fine." June looked up from the tomato plant she was tending. "And what are you doing right now to fix those problems?" I need to get back. I need to show them I'm indispensable. I need to control the outcome." "Yes." She stood slowly, dirt on her knees, and walked to where he stood by the fence. Beyond it, the river flowed, constant and unhurried. "Avery, do you see that water?" "What?" "Yes, I see the river. Watch it for a moment. Really watch." He wanted to refuse, to explain why this was pointless, but something in her tone made him pause. He looked at the river. The water moved around rocks without hesitation. When it met an obstacle, it didn't fight. It flowed around, over, through. It didn't stop. It didn't panic. It just moved. "The river never fights with the rocks," June said softly. "It just keeps flowing. And eventually, it shapes everything in its path. Not through force, through persistence and surrender to its own nature." "That's nice, Grandma, but I'm not a river." "No," she smiled, "but you could learn from one." The third morning, June asked him to help water the garden. Avery grabbed the hose, immediately adjusting the spray nozzle to maximize efficiency. But the wind kept blowing the water off course. He adjusted his angle. The wind shifted. He adjusted again. The wind shifted again. "This is ridiculous," he muttered, fighting with the hose, the pressure, the wind, the universe itself. June appeared beside him with her old watering can, calmly pouring water directly at the base of each plant. "You're fighting with the water," she observed. "I'm trying to do this right. But the wind will do what the wind does. The water will do what the water does. You can't control them. You can only work with them." "So what? I just let the wind ruin everything? Or you could stop using force and find flow." She demonstrated, tilting the hose downward, letting the water fall gently instead of spraying. The wind barely affected it. It was such a small thing, Such a stupid, simple thing. But Avery felt something crack inside his chest. He'd been spraying water at his life, demanding it go where he wanted, getting furious when the wind, circumstances, people, reality didn't cooperate. He never thought to just lower the pressure, change his approach, flow instead of force. That afternoon, his car wouldn't start. "I'll call a tow truck," he said immediately, phone already out. "Or we could walk to town," June suggested. "It's only 2 miles. Beautiful day for it." "Grandma, I need to fix the car." "The car will be there tomorrow. The afternoon won't be." Against his every instinct, he agreed. The walk was slow. June pointed out birds, flowers, asked him about his childhood, told stories about his grandfather. Nothing urgent, nothing productive. Just walking. And somewhere between mile 1 and mile 2, Avery realized he hadn't checked his phone in 45 minutes. And the world hadn't ended. That evening, a delivery June had ordered didn't arrive. "Well," she shrugged, opening the nearly empty refrigerator. "Looks like we're getting creative. Pasta with whatever vegetables we have? We should call and complain. Get a refund. They promised delivery today." "Avery." She touched his hand. "What will complaining give us that cooking together won't?" They made a simple meal with mismatched ingredients. It was chaotic. It was imperfect. And when they sat down to eat, Avery realized it was one of the best meals he'd had in months. Not because of what was on the plate, because of who was across the table. On the 4th day, it rained. A sudden storm that drenched them while they were walking by the river. Avery's first instinct was anger. They should have checked the forecast, brought umbrellas, planned better. But June just laughed. She actually laughed, tilting her face to the sky, letting the rain soak her silver hair. "When's the last time you let yourself get caught in the rain, sweetheart?" "I don't. I plan to avoid it." "And what do you miss by always staying dry?" She took his hand and spun him around like they were dancing, both of them soaked to the bone, and something in Avery broke completely. He laughed. For the first time in months, maybe years, he laughed without thinking about what came next. The climax came on day 5. Avery's phone rang at 2 p.m. The hospital. His heart rate spiked instantly. "Avery, we've got a situation." It was Derek, his second in command. "The system crashed during the patient intake update. We're locked out. Half the scheduled appointments for tomorrow are inaccessible." Avery's mind went into overdrive. "I need to come back. I can fix it. Give me 2 hours." "The team's already working on it. I just wanted to keep you informed." "Derek, you don't understand the backup protocols. Let me talk to IT. Let me—" June appeared in the doorway. She didn't say anything, just looked at him with those calm, knowing eyes. "Avery, we've got this," Derek said. "Honestly, you being here would just slow us down. You'd want to oversee everything instead of letting us work." The words hit like a punch. "You'd slow us down. But what if we're actually capable without you?" Derek's voice was gentle but firm. "Trust us, man. We've learned from you. Let us show you." Avery's hand trembled. Every fiber of his being screamed to take control, to drive back, to fix it himself. But June's words echoed. "Sometimes the best help you can give is trusting that others can handle it without you." "Okay," he heard himself say. The word felt like jumping off a cliff. "Keep me updated." He hung up. And then he waited. It was the hardest thing he'd ever done. Harder than any audit, any performance review, any confrontation. He sat on June's porch, staring at the river, phone in his sweating palm, every instinct screaming at him to intervene. June brought him tea and sat beside him. She didn't offer platitudes or reassurance. She just sat. "It feels like dying," Avery admitted. "Not being in control. It feels like everything's going to fall apart." "And what if it doesn't?" Then I've been torturing myself for nothing. I've been pushing everyone away, exhausting myself for nothing or for something important. You learned how to hold things together. That's valuable. But now, you're learning something harder. What? How to let go. They sat in silence as the river flowed. Time passed differently here, not in urgencies and deadlines, but in breaths and bird songs and the sound of water finding its way. 3 hours later, Derek called back. We fixed it. Actually found a better workaround than the old system. The whole team collaborated. AT said it was the smoothest emergency response they've ever seen. Avery closed his eyes. Relief. But also something else. Something that felt like grief. "They didn't need me," he said after hanging up. "No," June agreed. "They didn't need you to control them, but they did need what you taught them. You built a good team, Avery. Good enough to function without your constant supervision. That's not failure. That's success." "Then why does it hurt?" "Because you've been using control to feel valuable. And now you have to find value in something else." "Like what?" She gestured to the river. "Like being instead of doing. Like trusting instead of managing. Like flowing instead of forcing." "The colors are too bright," Elliot finally said. "And this font, it's trendy, which means it'll date quickly. You could have made more conservative choices, more professional." Before, Liam would have crumbled. Agreed. Internalized the criticism as proof of inadequacy. Instead, he felt Miles watching from across the table. Brooke's hand found his under the table. "Dad." Liam's voice was calm. "I'm proud of what I created. It's bold, because that's what the festival needed. It's contemporary, because that's the audience. And it won. It won because it's good." Elliot blinked, surprised. "I'm just saying you could have. I know you want me to be perfect. I know excellence was always the minimum in this house." Liam met his father's eyes. "But I'm not going to spend my life chasing a bar that keeps moving. I gave this project my best, and my best is enough." The table went silent. Miles broke it with slow clapping. "Finally! That's my big brother!" Elliot's jaw worked. For a moment, he looked almost vulnerable. I just wanted you to be successful." "I know, Dad, but I need you to understand. I can't be successful if I never let myself try. And I can't try if I'm terrified of disappointing you." Something passed between them then. Not resolution, but the beginning of understanding. 3 months later. Saturday afternoon, Liam sat in the bleachers of Miles's gym, watching the championship game. The scoreboard was close, tied with 2 minutes left. Miles had the ball. The gym fell quiet. He lined up his shot, and for a split second, their eyes met across the court. Miles winked, that same irreverent grin, and let the ball fly. Swish. The crowd exploded. Miles's team mobbed him, wheels spinning in celebration. When the chaos settled, Miles looked back at Liam and mouthed, "We did it." After the game, as they walked to the parking lot, Miles said, "Thanks for coming. To all the games. It means a lot." "Thank you," Liam replied, "for teaching me what I couldn't learn anywhere else." "Yeah? What's that?" "That I was already everything I needed to be. I just had to stop hiding it." Miles laughed. "Took you long enough." At home that night, Liam stood before his bathroom mirror, not with the critical eye that had dominated his life, but with something gentler. Acceptance. Not perfection, but wholeness. His phone buzzed. An email from Richard. New client wants you to lead the pitch. You ready? Before, the answer would have been automatic fear. Now, Liam felt something different. Yes, there was nervousness, but underneath it, certainty. He typed back, "Ready." Brooke found him smiling at his phone. Good news? The best kind. An opportunity to try, to maybe fail, to definitely show up. And you're not terrified? Oh, I'm terrified, Liam laughed. But Miles taught me something. You can be scared and still play. Fear doesn't disqualify you. She kissed his temple. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of me too, he said, and meant it. Later, Liam sat at his desk, sketching ideas for the new pitch. The old voice tried to whisper its familiar doubts, but now he recognized it for what it was. Not truth, but habit. Not wisdom, but fear wearing wisdom's mask. He thought of Miles on the court, missing shots and laughing, trying again, celebrating effort, showing up imperfect and magnificent. The world didn't need Liam's perfect self, because that self didn't exist. Never had. Never would. The world needed his real self. Flawed and brave. Uncertain and trying. Human and enough. Always enough. In his journal that night, Liam wrote, "Today I learned the hardest lesson, that I am already everything I need to be, not everything I'll become. That's still unfolding. But right now, in this messy, imperfect moment, I am enough. My brother can't always control his body, but he controls his spirit. I can control my body just fine, but I let my spirit be imprisoned by imaginary standards. No more. The person I've been waiting to become is already here. He's been here all along, waiting for permission to be visible. Permission granted." He closed the journal and looked out his window at Denver's lights. Somewhere out there, his festival design glowed on banners and posters. Not perfect, not flawless, but enough. Just like him. You are not required to be perfect to be worthy. You are required only to be honest, to show up, to try, even while trembling. That courage, that willingness to be seen in your beautiful imperfection, is what makes you whole. This story reminds us that we are often our own harshest critics. The worthiness we desperately seek through perfection already exists within us. Not earned through flawlessness, but claimed through the courage to show up as we are. What would change in your life if you stopped waiting to be perfect before allowing yourself to be seen? If this story touched something in you, type "enough" in the comments. Let me know you stayed until the end. Share what city you're watching from. Your presence might inspire someone on their journey. Subscribe and hit the bell, because every week I share stories that can transform how you see yourself. And remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be brave enough to show up.